Hi, welcome back to another video. So in this one I'm going to be talking about route density. In the first half of the video I'm going to be talking about why it's important and what you can do to improve your route density. And in the second half of the video I'm going to be talking about my business and my city and some localised challenges that we face. And I'm actually going to show you 3 days out of the fortnightly cycle that we do, and the good, the bad and the ugly, and I'll kind of voice over and talk about that. So that's in the second half. So stay tuned. So the benefits of route density is pretty obvious. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you fuel, you're going to be a lot more efficient, and that's going to generate you more profit. However, there's a number of other reasons why it's so important. When you first start out in gardening lawn care, the majority of people will pick up lawns and regular maintenance all over their city, potentially other cities. If you're a bit more rural, you might be travelling a lot further. And I think it's important over time that you actually start to look at where you're travelling and then start to condense it and not just rely on those lawns that you've already got in the bank, and actually look at what you could do. Now, if you're somewhat on the line down, like one chap I spoke to, and the drive's quite nice for him, this video's probably not for you. But if you're trying to increase your profitability and trying to grow your business and trying to grow your route density, then it's pivotal that you do that. So what I'm looking for when I take on a new client would be there's kind of 3 levels for me for route density, and it has to fall within one of these 3 for me to even go out and quote it. And the first level, which is the widest level, is do we already have a route in that estate or subdivision or whatever you want to call it, that small area? Do we already have a route operating in that? Because if we do, that will be kind of as loose as I can get with the with going out there. Now, the second level I'm looking for is, do we actually pass that customer's house whilst we're on our route? Because if we do, then that clearly is good route optimization, and that would be something I'd definitely be looking to take on. And the best level, the top tier, would be, do I have to unload the van after going from one customer to the next customer? Now, if I can get away with not packing up and just walking the mowers and strimmers and the blower to the next property, that's absolute golden tier, and that's where you can make the really, really big money. Now, if you do find yourself in a scenario where you've got some really, really good route density, or a customer that's inquiring and it's like next door to somebody that you do, it's really, really important to remember not to discount your services just to get it. And it can be a little bit tempting because it's going to be so much easier, they're a neighbour, yeah, but it's really important to keep it the same price. You know, it's consistent, it's fair for everybody, and ultimately you're only damaging your own profit margin if you do. So you shouldn't never discount, and you should keep the lawns as fair as possible, and you should have whatever your formula you use to work out your pricing, you need to keep it fair. One of the first things you need to do if you're going to tackle your route density is to come up with a service area. Now, an area which you're going to operate specifically for regular maintenance. Now, my service area for one-offs, landscaping, you know, cleanups, everything like that, hedge cutting, is wider than my regular maintenance route. Now, that of course means that some people that I will meet that we do hedges for annually, I can't provide regular maintenance for because they're just too far out of my service. Okay, just before I go into the specifics of the days and route and bits and pieces, I just want to kind of let you know my schedule a little bit. So we have Mondays, which is left off for cleanups and one-off jobs, bits and pieces like that. Then we have Tuesday, which is regular maintenance. Wednesday the same, Thursday the same. So them 3 are the regular maintenance days, and Friday is also for one-offs and cleanups and bits and pieces. Reason for that is that while I've got it in the middle of the when I've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the middle, I can, if it's raining, I can bring it forward, I can push it back. Also, if I'm doing a project which is going to run over one day, I can do it Friday, Monday, or Friday, Saturday if I want to, or if I want to take on a really big, exciting project that, you know, I know it would probably cost me a little bit, but if I want to, I can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and do a 4-day block. Now, I know I'll be working all week, but this is landscaping and lawn care, you know. it's seasonal. So if I've got a project that I think, wow, yeah, I really want to do that, or it's a good opportunity to learn, or there's some really good profit to be made, then that's what I'll do. And I've got that 4-day block then. And then actually, even if it does run over the 4 days, the customer only has to wait another 3 days onto the Friday, or I could push it back I could push all the maintenance back, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and create a 5-day block if I wanted to. So it just allows that bit of flexibility, which I've not had before. And yes, and then each specific day that we've got marries up to, it sounds a bit daft, but it marries up to when that local Facebook group has their business day. So, for example, Woodthorpe, which is one of the areas, has Woodthorpe Wednesday, which is when all the businesses can promote regular lawn care or, whatever, gutter cleaning, whatever, on that Wednesday. So we do our route on that Wednesday, and it basically just means that I don't have to go out off route and do quotes. If I get a message on Facebook, or, if I want to advertise scarifying or whatever, I'll be within 5 minutes or a couple of minutes at some point that day, because I'm all over that estate all day, and it just means I can just drop in. Which sometimes the quickest one to get there, the guy that picks up the phone first isn't the one that gets the job. It can work similar to that. Now, Facebook's not really the best thing, and it was more for when we started the business, but we use that, and we use local groups, but it does still work. And I couldn't really think of any other rhyme or reason for having that on that day. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. So that's my schedule. Yeah, let's get into the actual bits and pieces, the nuts and bolts of it. So just there where we're looking is basically the inner ring road. So the outer ring road is where we operate, but this is the inner ring road, so I don't go inside that area. You can drive through there, but it's just so congested. It can take you 20 minutes to cross that bit, and it just ruins any sort of density. So we stay away from that area, unless we're doing one-off tidy-ups in the winter, and like cages and stuff for commercial buildings, which we have a few of, but we don't do anything on a regular basis on the routes in that area. So this is our Wednesday week 1 route, which is Woodthorpe Wednesday. We start on the left-hand side, drift over to the right. It's about 2 miles between the MD pin and on the left-hand side, and the MD pin on the right-hand side. It doesn't take us too long, just like maybe 6 hours, 7 hours, something like that. And max, it's usually mow and goes pretty much on this, but there's a couple with bed maintenance, which we're never at any of those properties for more than an hour. I think 50 minutes is about the average time for the biggest one on this day. Now this is one of the better routes that we've got. It's not the best, but the best one was difficult to show from a jobber's perspective. But this is a little bit more spaced out. So we have a bundle of 4 straight down the middle, which is walkable, where we don't have to repack the van. And there's 3 on the right hand side, again, where it's just walkable, where we can just walk the mowers and the equipment down the street, park up, and just kind of, yeah, because that setup and breakdown time costs, it costs money. But yeah, we don't have to do that on some of these routes. So this is a really efficient route, and it's pretty profitable as well. And yeah, we like doing this one. It's a good route. Okay, and this is Tuesday of week 2, and this is the poorest one on the route. We struggle with this particular section, and to be honest, if I didn't have some customers that are kind of originals and some people I really like, I probably would think about scrapping this section, because I struggle so much to get density, and there's a lot of rental houses in and around this area, and with that comes 6 months tenancies, so quite often I'm losing people, now, which is great because sometimes they shimmy off to the other side of the city, which boosts my density even more. But quite a lot of the time I struggle, and I do struggle a lot with this area. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of air my dirty laundry and go, yeah, this is the terrible route, and it really is. Out of the 6 days of maintenance that we do per fortnight on a regular basis, this is definitely the weakest, and it's definitely the one to work on for next year. So I'd say this was average, maybe not quite so good. in one half of it, and then the other half is pretty excellent. So it's a really small estate on the right hand side, which is called Badger Hill. Now this is really close to the university, and York is a massive university, and that's one of the campuses. It's just off screen on the right hand side. Now a lot of these are student properties, and again we can walk to the majority of these. We only have to pack the van up across 11 houses 3 times in that right hand side, so that's a pretty dense route. We've got 6 on one street, which is incredible for us anyway. And on the left hand side, which is Fulford, not quite so good, but it was just a way to make a full day. Now that area, to be honest, it's not an area I know particularly well, and I've obviously got a few customers. You can see I've got 4. There's actually a 5th one that's slightly off screen, that's on like the way in when we start our day, but that one needs a little bit of work, but it makes for a good day overall. But because it's so highly densely populated on the right hand side, that it kind of, that's the left hand side is the pathway in, so it makes the whole day really good. But actually, if I could replicate the right hand side, then it'd be an incredible day, and you know, I'd be jumping out of bed to go and get that one. But yeah, so it's a good day, but it's not, there's a little bit of an improvement in there that could be made.